It's probably the same place I found it when I started out back in the 60s. The question I ask myself all the time, you know, who loves black people? I mean, who really loves black people? And part of the answer is black people don't love black people. And why? Because we've been conditioned, we've been acculturated outside of ourselves to love other people more than we love ourselves. And so part of my responsibility and the responsibility of the people that work with me, and that's very important, people that work with me, not for me, okay? That they think and they react and function and be proactive in terms of what we need to do for ourselves. And any people who are in control of their own cultural imperatives is about the essentially healthy replication of themselves. And if you don't know your name, other people are going to name you. And that's what we are. And so part of our responsibility is to make sure that black people understand who they are and to understand that they have names also, even though we in many cases end up changing our names from our birth names. So coming out of a very difficult situation as a young boy, what saved my life was art. What saved my life was black literature, black music, black visual art. That actually saved me, not the church, all right, not, you know, some invisible source out there, but black literature. Reading Black Boy at 14 years old, I read Black Boy in less than 24 hours. And that was the first time I started thinking about myself in a very positive way. I think that one of the real problems is that, and I was talking mainly about, say, maybe black and Hispanic and Asian writers who are not white, is that these MFA programs for the most part are basically a hustle. And there are too many of them, okay? When I went to Iowa, it was a real problem, not for me to get in, but it was, you know, there was a challenge in terms of taking people who really had something to say at one level. Now they're proliferated across the country, and you got MFA programs. Even when we started our MFA program at Chicago State University, in the state of Illinois, they're only about 3 or 4. Okay, now they're about 5 or 6 or 7. I don't know. So I think that the problem is these universities see they can make some money because the MFA is a terminal degree. And when I came out of Iowa, and I only went there because I had to go there in order to stay in teaching in the academy because of the terminal degree. But I see it as a hustle now, for the most part, all right? And there's so many that you got all these MFAs out there, these coming out, these young white, they can't find work. They can't find work. And so what I was talking about earlier is they got to find a community. You got to find an audience. You got to craft your work. You got to get your work out there. I don't care how you get it out there. And you got to understand, essentially, you're not writing for all of America because all of America is not going to write about no damn poetry. All right? So you got to find your audience, hone in on the audience, get feedback from them, and begin to create around what they see as our tomorrow. This is the crucial thing. What is our tomorrow? What's the 5-year plan? What's the 10-year plan for our tomorrow? Certainly, I mean, I ran into Gwendolyn Brooks, and she channeled the anger toward, you know, being more productive as a poet, but also she realized that I was right in terms of trying to build these independent black institutions. I founded Third World Press in 1967, all right? I was 25 years old. Gwendolyn Brooks saw the power of that, and I introduced her to Dudley Randall, who had become my publisher at Broadside Press, and she left Harper and Row to go to Broadside Press. At the same time, in the 1970s, she's leaving Harper and Row. Random House is coming after me. My third book, Don't Cry Scream, sold 75,000 copies. No other poet ever sold 75,000 copies of poetry, all right? Random House is coming to me, and I said no, because Gwendolyn Brooks had come to Broadside Press. I'm not going to leave Broadside Press and go to Random House. That would be counterproductive. It would be a contradiction. It would be hypocrisy to the highest level. So essentially, I'm one of the few poets, most certainly the Black Arts Movement, to come out and have a national or international presence who's never published a book with white people. Never. And never will. Why? Because it's incumbent upon us to build independent black institutions that support what we need, not what other people need and want. because they use their resources ourselves to do what they want to do. We have to do what we need to do for ourselves first. Now, the key point is, other people want to define us as being, say, anti-black, anti-white, or what the case may be. No, that's pro-black. All right. Now, I know I've been accused of being too black. Nobody ever accused anybody of being too white. You see what I'm saying? That if you don't know your name, you got a problem. If you don't know who you are in the context of the world, you got a damn serious problem. All right, we got enough bright minds. We got enough people who essentially, I know I've been working with all my life, who show me in the sense that we can continue to build for ourselves. And that's what any people do who are in control of their own cultural imperatives. You see, that's what they build healthy communities. But what does he build these healthy communities? You got to fight. You got to fight. You got to resist. You got to resist. Because these people out here don't mean us any good and do not mean anybody any good who are about trying to change the world for the best. That which is good, just, correct, and right. That's it. That's what we have to do.